Okay, so sorry, my voice is really recovering from the fires that we've had here in California. Um, I'm now not in California, so the air is much better. Um, hey, so now I got your Ask Me Anything questions, and what I thought I'd do is just go through them, and you asked me anything, I'll answer whatever you've asked. So let's see, does that kind of work? Yeah, let's do it. Um, do you believe that the tipping point for fiat currency is near and that we should soon shift to internet money? I think there is never a better time to switch to internet money than now. And that has been the case for the entire last year. Even though Bitcoin and whatever have gone down in price, this is a transformation. This is a way that the way to look at the world where you're no longer tied to a fiat government. Bitcoin is not political money. This is an opportunity to break free from political forces. And as you get older and more into your businesses and more mature in your businesses, you're going to find that government is really imposing its will on you, and it is making it so that you are less able to innovate and create and drive the progress that you need to drive. So yeah, it's always a good time. If you're asking for when's the inflection point, the only prediction I make is that by 2022, maybe a little into 2023, Bitcoin will hit $250,000. And I'm not sure whether that's Bitcoin going up or people leaving cryptocurrency as it slowly, leaving fiat currencies, it slowly goes away and people embrace cryptocurrency. Okay, cryptocurrencies are worth their value in fiat. So will the world have two types of money with one dependent on the other? Well, this, I think, is the reason I think that it's going to take until about 2022. It's a good question. For crypto to be prevalent everywhere. I think it's because all of the engineers have to finally do their work to make it so that we have the ability to do everything with cryptocurrency that we can do with fiat currency, like easily pay for a cup of coffee, or easily buy real estate, or easily buy a car, or whatever, buy some clothes. You want to make once that's as easy to do in crypto as it is in fiat, then there will be no longer a reason to hold fiat, except some, feeling like clinging to the past. And because who's going to want a currency that's tied to some political force that decides how much money is printed, and if they print too much, it inflates, and they print too little, the economy crashes. It's a system that doesn't really work. Bitcoin is going to there will always be 21 million Bitcoin out there. So when Bitcoin and other cryptos start to take over a big share, and maybe a major share of the world currency economy, this is going to be quite an amazing transformation. But I think we've been through many transformations, and we're going to be very comfortable with it. Okay, question 3. Everyone knows you love Bitcoin, so do you think that forks are a helpful idea? Do they solve a problem or simply reflect politics and greed? No, I think forks are a terrific idea, because what it does is it forces a competitive spirit amongst the people who are working on the various currencies. And so we'll get the best currency possible with the best governing system possible because they'll all compete. Tezos came out with the proof of stake, and that challenged the proof of work system. Ripple came out with a much faster transaction rate, and then the Lightning Network came out and sped it up for Bitcoin. So I believe that competition is great, and I expect a number of major currencies to be crypto. And I think the fiat currencies are going to just take a long time to die, but I'm not seeing a real reason to have the fiat currencies, the political currencies, when we have currencies that are frictionless, cheaper to operate, decentralized, open, global. I don't see a reason to keep on to some currency that is only tied to one political force or another. As a venture capitalist who has experienced both the worlds, what role do cryptocurrencies play in the future of investments? Oh, well, I am so excited about what cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and all the associated technologies around Bitcoin, the blockchain, smart contracts, and maybe even artificial intelligence are going to do to finance and for finance. I'm seeing many, many very creative entrepreneurs coming to me and changing the way I think about finance. I know that venture capital has already started to change. People are raising money more on their tokens rather than the stock. When I invest, I like to invest in the stock and the tokens because I don't know which one that the entrepreneur really wants to make happen. But I think it's a really exciting time, and yes, venture capital is going to change. And I'm excited about it. I like it. And you know, you've got to get in front of a change. When your industry, whatever your industry is, when your industry starts to falter or gets transformed by some technology, jump into it, build it, get excited about it. Okay, in an industry that's predominantly occupied by millennials, you belong to the minority of believers. What do you think the baby boomers perceive differently? Well, I guess, am I a baby boomer? Yeah, I think I am. It's pretty interesting that that this money is not your grandpa's currency. And it's very difficult to get somebody like Warren Buffett to say, oh yeah, you know, let's do something else. I got all these dollars. Now they're not going to be that worth that much. Bitcoin's going to be much more valuable in the future. I mean, really, is he going to do that? No way. But you're coming up and you're 30 years old and you're in dollar debt. Your parents have put you in deep dollar debt, given you this great education, and you're sort of thinking, hey, this system didn't work for me already. But we've got a new system, and it's much better. And I think that's the beginning of what's happening. And so the good news is, for Bitcoin lovers, that the people who want this change are younger, and the people who hate this change are dying off. So, you know, I guess good to be a millennial. How do cryptocurrencies contribute to wealth management, and how can they be leveraged? There are hundreds of new wealth management entrepreneurs changing the whole nature of cryptocurrency. I mean, changing the nature of wealth management to include cryptocurrency or to obviate the need for fiat currency. People will, I have actually 4 or 5 years ago, I lent my Bitcoin for 15% Bitcoin profit per year. I lent it out. I lent out, I think, 1,000 Bitcoin, and I think they gave me 150 more Bitcoin a year back for lending it out. I think that was the first of these new forms of crypto, new forms of wealth management for crypto. I think there are going to be other ways of, they're great ways, and I think that there's something amazing that can happen with wealth management. You know how you're surrounded by lawyers when you're doing your estate planning. Well, you can write now with a smart contract, you can write your wealth management into software, and you die, they push a button, and it goes out to everybody that's supposed to go to. I think this is that's gonna change a lot of things. So, sorry about that. So do you believe that companies need to stop selling themselves by saying that they're powered by blockchain, instead focus on selling the product and its utility for users? Yeah, you know, I think it's interesting that that there are all of these bankers that are going around saying, well, Bitcoin's nothing, but blockchain, that's really interesting. What they're really saying is, please don't use Bitcoin because we control your dollars. Keep coming back to us. So it got to be this very cool thing to say that we have a blockchain strategy and we're going to think through and whatever. Yeah, I think most companies really just have to delight their users, and they've got to make sure that that works for their users. What are the disruptions beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum that the industry has seen or can hope to witness? Well, one I did mention briefly is what's happening at Tezos. There are going to be many tokens, like, you know, there are many tokens. There are thousands and thousands of tokens that are out there. They're all creating different governing strategies, and they're all looking at the world in a new governing way. And I think what's great is that it might create some new ways of thinking about how we are governed, or how we as humans kind of interrelate. I think one thing that's definitely happening is that we're all going to be global. The geographic borders have been artificial. It's all been fiefdoms and tribal and fighting and all that. And I get the feeling that we all know better than what the news people and the political people are telling us, that, oh, there's a threat from this country or a threat from that country. Well, it's just if the leaders are nuts. The rest of us are just trying to get along, trying to do business with each other, and we're building friends around the world. And those friends around the world are from all different parts of the world. We've, at Draper University, we've had students from 76 different countries, and they're just all sort of shocked to see each other and realize that they get along really well with somebody who's from a country that's supposed to be their enemy. You know, state departments, I'm sure they, in some ways, have a purpose, but I know that they're really trying to sell fear to keep their purpose going. I think we really need to think about the world as one big open globe, and maybe multiple globes if Elon Musk takes us to another one, or if we take ourselves to another one. Elon's just a good symbol for it. And I think we're gonna, all those geographic borders are gonna fall. I think there'll still be sort of local governing, like, how do we get along? How do we decide whether somebody can build something right next to us, or where does the freeway go? You know, that's assuming we're not just all flying. But I think that most of governance is security and safety and for the good of the whole community. And I think that those things can all be done through Bitcoin and the blockchain and smart contracts and deep learning and artificial intelligence. I think we're going to see over the next 10 years, we're going to see the end of the bureaucrat. And I think that's really healthy, because I actually think the bureaucrats are a huge drag on the economy. And they're a drag on societal progress. I mean, they're doing a noble thing. They're following the law. They're making sure the law is followed. And but that kind of thing can all be done through crypto. Do you think the blockchain can be disrupted without cryptocurrencies? No, I think cryptocurrencies are the reason blockchain exists. I think there are going to be uses that are not currency. They can be data related. There can be other uses. People are designing new social networks that are tied to the blockchain. So I think that can be kind of interesting. But no, cryptocurrencies are the uses that are making it so that the world is open. They are global currencies. They are competitive currencies. They're currencies that have to compete with one another for you, instead of a currency that is tied to some political force. So it's not political currency, it's global, open, decentralized, honest, transparent currency. Internet money is just a technology, and we often hear it being tagged as bad. Are we right in classifying a technology as bad instead of its use cases or users while framing regulations and policies? You know, whenever you hear technology being tagged as bad, that's usually from media selling fear, which is what media does. They sell fear. The fear sellers are growing bigger than ever before. And they're going to continue to sell fear as long as we're buying fear. And so they're looking for all the very worst things that could potentially happen to anybody. And so I think that and they're being fed by people who are trying to keep it the way it was. But with all technologies, like all technologies, the cat's out of the bag, and our world just keeps improving, and no technology is kept down forever. You can get it's amazing how technologies just rise, and people continue to innovate with them and evolve businesses and industries with them. Technology is really good for society, good for us. Can regulatory clarity improve adoption and implementation, or is it just a temporary factor impacting short-term price cycles of cryptocurrencies? You know, I think governments should really get regulatory clarity as quickly as they possibly can, and by putting heavy restrictions on cryptocurrencies, they are hurting innovation, and actually they're forcing entrepreneurs to leave the country. You know, in Binance's case, Binance said, "Hey, we got this great exchange. We can exchange all your cryptocurrencies." It's this company got to be worth about $10 billion, and it was in China. Well, the Chinese government says, "Oh, cryptocurrency is illegal here." So what does he do? Well, he picks up and he goes to Singapore. And the Singapore government went, "Oh, great, you're in Singapore." And then they started to add too many regulations to him. So he went to Malta. So all of a sudden, you're looking at this very dynamic play where various governments are now going to have to compete for us as more and more companies do what Binance did. You know, many crypto entrepreneurs left China and went to Japan. Japan was very clever. They said, when China declared Bitcoin an illegal currency in China, Japan said Bitcoin is a national currency in Japan and completely recognized, and here's how you do an ICO in Japan. And they just opened the doors to all of these entrepreneurs. Japan was brilliant. I think that kind of thing is happening all over the world. The US has been very slow to regulate. And I think what they're doing is pretty much what they did with the internet. They delayed so that they had the benefit of all the interesting technologies out there without trying to impose too much before it all played out. But I already do know of like 2 or 3 really awesome technologies that have been damped down by the fear that that the SEC might come down one way or another, or the IRS might come down one way or another. I tend to like it when governments are more open and transparent and allow technologies to flourish in their country. When the governments and regulators of first world countries hop on to embrace cryptocurrencies, will the existing dynamics change? Yeah, I'm thinking that the first world countries, well, the large countries, the monopolistic country, the biggest countries, the US and China and Russia, they're going to be the last ones to really embrace cryptocurrencies because they have really good positions in their currencies. The dollar is accepted in a lot of different countries, not everywhere. Not everywhere Bitcoin is accepted. Bitcoin's accepted everywhere. But I think that that's going to be a really interesting, they're going to be slower to adopt. The smaller countries are going to look at this as a major opportunity. So I think that we've got 2 things happening. Anyway, you guys are out of questions. I'm out of time. And great, I'm glad I was able to do this. I hope they're able to put together the 3 videos so you get the whole benefit of what we did. But in any case, it's been nice talking.